Welcome back. All right, so there seems to be a rule with preseason games that I watch. Um, there's always an injury. There always seems to be a prominent injury. Last night's Seattle Vancouver game was thankfully an exception to that rule. But in every other game, there seems to be a significant injury. And in tonight's, it feels like this has ignited something. Now, I know it's preseason, right? So, preseason, a lot of people don't pay attention. They're like, it doesn't matter. Tonight's game was basically an inexperienced AHL level New Jersey team with some veterans sprinkled in against almost what the Rangers are going to look like on opening night. The defense may be a little bit different than what we see on opening night, but you knew the Rangers were going to win this game. That's not the point. So that's why I review these games. It's not the point of whether or not whichever team wins, because there's no standings to worry about. It's how teams play, how things go, and it feels like tonight, we may see more of a fight between New Jersey and the Rangers this year than normal. And these teams don't like each other at the best of times. And this harkens back to the '90s. If we can get '90s level hatred between these teams, I'm going to be happy when they meet each other. So it was Bernier versus Shesterkin. Bernier is in for the whole game, as is Shesterkin. And the numbers are ugly for Bernier. It's not on him. Again, there was a very inexperienced roster for the New Jersey Devils out there. The first chance came from Studenic, who I thought played well. I have said before, I like Studenic. I think he's a good player. And I honestly hope that he earns himself a spot on the roster and that he continues to take that next step. The Rangers had 4 hits in the first 2 minutes. We had no idea how physical this was going to get. But at 3:23, Zibanejad scored his first of 2 goals from Fox and Miller. And Fox's vision on the ice and his ability to make that pass that leads to the goal is what sets him apart. And so he's in Norris form now. It was only the second shot of the game, but again, I don't think it would have mattered who was in net for New Jersey there. The Rangers then try to add another. They press at the 5-minute mark. Jaros fails to clear. Subban eventually would. There was a post for Jesper Bratt. His next shot was saved as the Devils were pushing. So that's where I was kind of interested. I was like, okay, so the Rangers have everybody in the lineup. They're up 1-0. And it kind of felt like they took their foot off the gas or they were being outworked by New Jersey. I'm not sure which one it was. Subban fires one wide. Shesterkin denies DeLeo. Good puck pressure by the Devils. The shots were 6-4 in their favor halfway through that first period. And then it happens. So Reeves gets hurt. Now, the term slewfoot's going to get used about what Subban did on the play. You guys can decide whether or not it looked like he was trying to hurt Reeves. I'm on the fence. I don't. It could go either way for me. I'll see what the NHL does if the player safety says anything about this. I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they don't. But Subban is a very divisive character, so when something like this happens, and it looked bad. Reeves got hurt, toe picked, and his leg kind of spinned a bit. Anyways, it was bad, and he needed help off the ice. Couldn't put a lot of weight on that leg, so he could be out for a while. And Kreider immediately goes to Subban, and that would be the storyline for most of the rest of this game. Was Chris Kreider letting Subban know, I'm not your fan right now. I don't like you, and Subban saying, whatevs. I don't care. It's fine. But again, the Rangers at that stage, it felt like, got quite angry. And to that point in the game, there wasn't a lot of emotion in this. So the Rangers with 9 defensemen still on their roster. So tonight, Tenorti and Lundqvist get into the lineup. I thought Lundqvist played really well. Tenorti is a decent option as a number 7. But in their next game, they'll go back to their standard pairings on the blue line, and we'll see if Lundqvist ends up being the number 7 or what happens and who the number 9 is going to be that misses out on being on the roster. Studenic gets another good chance. Geertsen missed one wide. What's interesting is Geertsen gets involved in all the physicality in this game. The last time these teams met, Geertsen was on the other side. He was playing for the Rangers. Tonight he's playing for the Devils, of course, picked up on waivers. Devils had the edge since the goal. They get a power play. Good power play, but Shesterkin was sharp. The Rangers kill it off, allow 2 shots. With 3 minutes and 40 seconds left, the Devils get another power play. The shots were 12-4 in their favor. I think they had like 8 shots in a row. And they announced at this point Reeves wouldn't return. Dangerous power play. The Rangers kill it off. They only allow the 1 shot. Geertsen had a tip that was saved in the final minute. Hedel had a shot saved near the horn. And at the end, it's Tenorti that goes after Subban and lets him know he's not a fan of Subban either. So in between periods, I don't know that anything was discussed, but I can't prove anything wasn't discussed. And 4 seconds into the period, Kreider doesn't even look at the puck. He doesn't care. He's going straight for Subban. So this is where, if PK is going to drop the gloves, you would expect it, and he doesn't. And instead he kind of hangs on, and he kind of laughs it off. And he said something. I know he said something because we get 4-on-4. It was a roughing, 2 minutes for Kreider, and the 10-minute misconduct. And Subban gets 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct. So he said something out there that caused the referee to say, okay, you're going to the box. DeLeo then hit the side of the net during the 4-on-4. Zacha and Bratt had a 2-on-1. Bratt fires a shot wide. And then a breakaway goal. McLeod blows a tire at the Rangers blue line. Kakko from there, straight in. 3 minutes and 58 seconds. Absolutely beautiful goal. I hope Kaapo Kakko has a big season to silence the critics and prove it wasn't a wasted pick by the Rangers. Yeah, it's preseason, right? Rangers then go to the power play. Panarin had a shot that was blocked. Bernier denies Strome. And then we get 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 4 seconds. The Rangers call a timeout. Coming out of the timeout, whatever they discussed works. Zibanejad scores the 5-on-3 goal from Fox and Strome at 5:39, which is unfair when there's only 3 players on the ice. And again, New Jersey without their full complement of players. Devils did kill the 5-on-4 that followed, but the momentum was with the Rangers, who were clearly angry. This was a very angry Rangers team. Lundqvist as well, impressive defensively. I really think he's got a good track on getting one of those spots on the blue line. And then Johnsson, he scores from Bratt and Zacha at 9:57. Great pass by Jesper Bratt, and yeah, Johnsson does bury it. Blaine then collided with Jankowski, and that was after Kakko and McLeod collided. A lot of collisions in this game. Thankfully, nobody else got hurt that I saw. Johnsson had a shot that was saved. Shesterkin, very sharp. He had saved 20 out of 21 to that point in the game. And then Blais. Sammy Blais doing what Sammy Blais can do. I know that the offensive numbers from Sammy Blais have been underwhelming. And when that Buchnevich trade happens, a lot of people went, what are they thinking? It's stuff like this, that Blais can add that energy to the fourth line, and he gets a great goal at 14:28. It was just a really nice goal by him, the kind of stick work that you would expect out of a Buchnevich, and there it is from Blais. And then it's 20 seconds later that Goudreau makes it 5-1 from Trouba and Blais at 14:48. So Sammy Blais with a goal and an assist. That fourth line for the Rangers, clicking. Again, New Jersey with a less than stellar roster, but the Rangers, everything that you wanted to see in this game went their way, minus Reeves getting hurt. Rangers wanted another, but things slow a bit in the final 5 minutes, and we go to the third with the score 5-1. Subban and Kreider tie up at the start of the period again, and they gave them 5 each for fighting. I think there was like 2 punches thrown by either. That's usually 2 minutes each for roughing, maybe a double minor for roughing. I thought it was 5 minutes just to get him off the ice for 5 minutes. The only theory I had, because it really wasn't much of a fight. It's not like there was a lot of distance between them and they were really laying in the haymakers. It just, they tie up, and there was a couple of, I think there were glove-on punches too. Anyways, then there was a pass to Lafreniere that was blocked as hockey finally starts to happen. After that, the Devils press at 2 minutes. Shesterkin impressive again. Bernier saves a Trouba shot. Hedel had a shot that was blocked. He had another shot. That was saved by Johnsson. Andreas Johnsson might have had the best save of the game. Bernier a little bit out of position on that shot, and Johnsson saves it without like putting his glove on the puck in the crease or anything like that. It was just a nice straight up save by Hedel, or by Johnsson, sorry, on Hedel. The Rangers taking the momentum back at 5 minutes after the Devils had a short push there. Shesterkin then robs Greer. So Shesterkin very good. Things get kind of punchy, and it's Geertsen versus his former teammates, which has to be unusual, right? You're in one locker room one night, and then within a week you're in the other locker room, and you got to kind of, I mean, it's your job. You stick up for your teammates, but it's got to be a little bit weird for Geertsen and the guys. Although Geertsen didn't play, I don't know how many games he played for the Rangers last year, but it's still, you were in training camp with these guys. So the Rangers get a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Graves during that power play, and then there was one for Zacha as well. It was kind of a sloppy power play by the Rangers. Devils do kill it off. Subban was then sent off, and Gaudreau too. So basically, this is you guys are out, 10-minute misconducts, you're gone. And it did feel like that kind of settled things down. That every time Subban's on the ice, every time he touches the puck, the Rangers fans were either booing him or chanting Sub. I'm liking the idea of them chanting his name, because sure, they weren't. But yeah, so they sent Subban off. I'm sure Gaudreau was like, what did I do? Send off Kreider. Oh wait, never mind. He's going to be our captain. And I think there's a good chance. They're supposed to name the captain for the Rangers before the season opener. I really think it's going to be Kreider. And I think tonight's game is a good example of why. That when Reeves gets hurt, Kreider, who's a 20-goal scorer last season, takes it upon himself to say, you know what, I've got to let Subban know that we don't appreciate what he did there. And whether you think that it was dirty on purpose or dirty by accident, you have to respect that he's sticking up for his teammates. Studenic then adds a goal from Jankowski at 10:46. Studenic, again, impressive to me. Jankowski's on a tryout. I think he's going to get released. I don't think Jankowski is going to end up being in this lineup. It's possible. We'll probably find out over the next couple of days. But they don't make it close-ish for very long. About 20 seconds later at 11:05, it's Panarin from Strome. And it was a steal by Strome out to Panarin, and it is your standard Strome to Panarin play. And they could have a big year this year. Panarin looking for 100 points, you would think. Blaine to Gauthier then, a near miss as the Rangers seek another goal. And Lindgren and Fox, they showed like the great chemistry they have and the great communication they have with one another. And it is one of the better duos in the NHL. So, again, everything as a Rangers fan that you wanted to see in this game you get. As a Devils fan, it's a throwaway because most of the better players weren't in the lineup. And the emotion was dialed back as the time wound down, especially over the last couple of minutes. They were just trying to kill off the clock. Both teams were trying to kill off the clock. But you have to ask yourself, so if these teams meet each other 4 times this year, is Subban still going to be a bit of a target the next time out when they meet in the regular season, which isn't that long from now, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but the Rangers win this one 6-2. Impressive game, and then a chance for me to get the Devils and the Rangers up here. I don't think I've used the bumper stickers for either of them, and I don't think I've used either of these magnets either. So kind of nice to get them debuted on the channel and fresh and new and all that. But yeah, so the Rangers, they win the game as they were supposed to because they had the much better lineup. For the Devils, there may be some guys who earned themselves jobs tonight. There may be guys who lost themselves jobs tonight as well. And we'll see how things turn out and if player safety weighs in on what happened with Reeves. My guess is probably not a player safety move, but we'll see, right? Because there wasn't a penalty on the play. So if player safety says something there wasn't a penalty on the play, that reflects poorly then on the referee and the officials. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you watched this game. It was crazy. Again, the score, not as important. It's just the fact that there was a lot that happened in this game. A lot of dislike. These teams are going to war this year, and it's going to be fun to watch because they may be fighting it out for a playoff spot at the end of the year. Let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.